moment you stop reacting, everything begins to shift. Not loudly, not dramatically, but in a way people can feel, even if they can't explain it. Most people live their entire lives reacting to words, reacting to tone, reacting to disrespect, reacting to silence. And because of that, they are always being controlled. Controlled by emotions, controlled by other people, controlled by situations they never truly chose. But the moment you stop reacting, you take that control back, and it doesn't look the way people expect. It's quiet, it's subtle, but it's powerful. Because when you stop reacting, you stop giving people access to your inner state. Most people don't want control over your actions. They want control over your emotions. They want to know they can get a reaction out of you that they can disturb your peace. They want to shift your mood with a few words. And when they can do that, they feel powerful. But when you don't react, when you stay calm, when your expression doesn't change, something uncomfortable happens. They lose that power, and they feel it instantly. This is why the moment you stop reacting, people start acting differently around you. They hesitate more, they speak more carefully, they watch you more closely, because now you're unpredictable, and unpredictability creates power. When people can't read you, they can't control you. When they can't control you, they start respecting you. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think not reacting means suppressing everything, holding it in, pretending not to feel. That's not power, that's pressure. And pressure always explodes eventually. Real power is different. Real power is feeling everything, but choosing what deserves a response. It's the ability to pause, to observe, to decide, instead of instantly reacting like everyone else, because reaction is automatic, but response is intentional. And that one shift from reaction to response changes everything. Now you're not living on impulse, you're living with control, and control is rare. Most people don't have it. They say whatever comes to mind. They show every emotion immediately. They let others dictate how they feel, which is why they're easy to manipulate, easy to predict, easy to influence. But when you stop reacting, you step out of that pattern. You become someone people can't easily figure out, and that makes you dangerous in the best way, because now you're operating on a level most people never reach. Imagine someone disrespects you. Most people react instantly. They defend themselves, they raise their voice, they try to prove something. But what actually happens? They lose control. They show exactly where they're vulnerable. They give the other person a reaction. But when you don't react, when you stay calm, when you look at them without emotion, the dynamic flips. Now they feel exposed. Now they start questioning themselves. Now they wonder if they went too far. Silence, in that moment, becomes power. And this doesn't just apply to conflict. It applies to everything. When someone ignores you, when someone tries to provoke you, when someone expects you to chase, explain, or react, and you don't, you immediately separate yourself from the majority, because most people can't handle silence. They need constant feedback, constant validation, constant reaction. But you don't, and that changes how people see you. You become someone who is grounded, someone who is stable, someone who is in control, and control is attractive, not just in relationships, but in every area of life. In business, in friendships, in social situations. People are drawn to those who don't react emotionally. Because it signals strength, it signals confidence. It signals that you're not easily shaken. When you stop reacting, your mind becomes clearer. You're no longer clouded by emotion in every moment. You stop making impulsive mistakes. You stop saying things you regret. You stop acting in ways that don't align with who you want to be. Instead, you become intentional, and intention is what creates results. This is why your entire life changes. You become more focused, more disciplined, more aware, because you're no longer constantly pulled in different directions by emotional reactions. Day by day, moment by moment, you build a different identity. Someone who doesn't break under pressure. Someone who doesn't chase attention. Your instinct will always be to react. That's how you've been conditioned. From a young age, you are taught to respond immediately. The key is to build the pause. That small moment between what happens and how you respond. That pause is where your power lives. At first, it might only be a second, but that second is enough. Enough to stop the automatic reaction. Enough to choose something different until eventually it's natural. Now, you're not trying not to react. You simply don't. Because you've trained yourself to operate differently. Not opinions, not negativity, not disrespect. You see everything for what it is. temporary, external, not worth your peace. And when you reach that point, you become untouchable. Not because nothing happens to you, but because nothing controls you. That's what Stoicism teaches at its core. Control what you can, let go of what you can't, and never give away your inner state. Your relationships improve, your decisions improve, your confidence grows, because you know you're in control of yourself. Self-control is the highest form of power. Most people chase external power, status, attention. But real power is internal. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to react. You don't need to explain yourself, because your presence speaks for you. So the next time you feel the urge to react, pause, observe, and ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer will be no. And in that moment, when you choose not to react, you choose power. If you stay consistent, you won't just see small changes. You'll see a complete transformation in how you think and act, because the moment you stop reacting, your entire life changes. Check the link in the description to go deeper. Start today. Pause. Life in the modern world is a relentless storm of noise, deadlines, and digital distractions that never seem to end. Your mind feels like a tangled web of jagged thoughts, pulled in 1,000 directions at once by the pressure to perform. The clock is always ticking, a constant reminder of the time you feel is slipping through your fingers every single day. You find yourself reacting emotionally to every setback, leaving you exhausted and feeling like you've lost control over your own life. But in the middle of this digital chaos, a spark of hope appears, a different way to see the world. You discover a community dedicated to the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy built for resilience in a high-stress world. With one click, you choose to stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the master of your mind. The chaos begins to fade. The jagged lines of your world start to smooth into clear, bold, and purposeful shapes. Stoicism teaches the core principle: distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot. Focus only on the internal. Imagine a compass guiding you through the thickest fog. This is your reason, your inner guide through the uncertainties of life. When a crisis occurs, you no longer explode. You pause, you breathe, you choose your response with calm and clarity. This shift in mindset changes everything. You move from a state of reactive habit to a state of stoic composure. As you practice, the complex maze of daily life becomes simpler. Clear paths appear where there was once only confusion. Your focus deepens. You find yourself engaging in work with a level of concentration you never thought possible. Confidence grows. It's not an aggressive pride, but a steady, quiet assurance that you are prepared for whatever comes your way. The world hasn't changed, but you have. You are now the master of your own destiny, resilient and unshakable. Control what you can, master your mind. These are the keys to a life of true freedom and lasting fulfillment. Join us on this journey. Subscribe to start your own transformation and discover the strength within you.